Welcome to the part 2 of the death investigation in Sri Lanka as the disposal of the dead. Disposal of the dead could be legal or illegal. Imagine a situation where a person kills another and he is going to hide the dead body by dumping into a water, or he is going to surreptitiously dispose into another place, or could it be a burial, illegal burial? So now you can understand it is obviously an illegal process. Whereas to that, if somebody is going to follow the legal process, that means registration, finding a cause of death, right? So now it is the legal disposal of the dead. Basic steps upon death. Now I am going to summarize in this slide what are the basic steps as, right? So the first thing that we have to do is the confirmation of the death by a qualified doctor. So now this is the first thing. The next thing is to find the cause of death and the manner of death. As you can understand from the part 2, now to find the cause of death, there may be certain steps to be followed. If there are no suspicious circumstances and the manner of death is clear and everything is fine, we should not have the death investigation system or inquest system or inquest procedure. However, if there are certain suspicion, or there are certain things to be found, imagine the name is not known and everything, here we should have the inquest or death investigation. So now death is confirmed and now we know the cause of death and ideally the manner of death. The next step now, we have to get registered the death at the local birth and death registrar. Now, uh, uh, the duty of the local birth and death registrar is only to register the death. For that, he should get the name, cause of death, manner of death and everything. Alright. So with that, the local birth and death registrar will issue a temporary death certificate. Ideally, there are instances where they are going to issue the death certificate straight away. However, with this death certificate only, relatives should go to the funeral director along with the dead body, and also they have to go to the local municipal council, urban council or provincial council to get the plot allocated for time and also to get the crematorium allocated. As you can understand, deaths could occur inside hospitals or outside. So now we have to understand what we have to do actually with the deaths that could occur in certain places. Right. So now the explanation is here. Deaths could occur inside hospitals. It could be a state or private hospital even. If the cause of death is known, as you can see here, we should not have the process called inquest. Instead, as I have explained earlier, death should be confirmed first of all. Then the doctor in the ward is going to fill the declaration of death form or B33 with the cause of death. Now, as you can understand, relatives should go to the birth and death registrar to get started the registration process, and then they have to go into the embalming process and also burial or cremation process by visiting the local urban council or provincial council or somewhere based on the area concerned. So now this is very straightforward. Now here cause of death is known. So as a result, the doctor concerned is going to fill the declaration of death form indicating the cause of death and everything. Simple process. However, there may be certain occasions where death occurs in the hospital itself, but there are certain problems such as the cause of death is not known, the death is sudden and it is unexpected. As we have explained during the part 1, Now, you can't fill the declaration of death form. Instead, as the doctor in the hospital, you have to inform the director and also the police post requesting the process of inquest. Here, now the doctor is going to inform the police and the director. With the authority, now police is going to inform to the inquirer into sudden deaths or magistrate based on the type of the case, as we have described in the part 1. So now inquest procedure has been started now. Now, most of the time, there are situations where that a post-mortem investigation is not needed. However, now a magistrate or ISD will order the judicial medical officer to do the post-mortem to find the cause of death, manner of death, time since death, or anything. All right. So now what will happen after that? Now, as you can understand, by finding the cause of death and everything, now the next process is death registration, embalming, burial or cremation. So now this is the common process. That's why I have marked it in a different color. All right. Now let's move on to the instances where death occurs outside the hospitals. At outside also, there are situations where no suspicious circumstances and everything. So here, a qualified doctor can confirm the death and also he can give the cause of death. So the next step is what? Now, relatives should go to the local registrar of births and deaths and also to get the register and get the temporary death certificate and then to follow the embalming, burial or cremation. Alright. So now this is the common process. Alright. And then now imagine there are situations where again cause of death is not known or the death is under the purview of the indication of inquest. Here again there should be what? The process of inquest that will be held by inquiry into sudden deaths or the magistrate. Remember, there are situations where inquiry into sudden death can release the dead body without a post-mortem examination as well. So, each and every death that is reported to the inquiry into sudden death should not be undergone for a post-mortem examination. By law, he can release certain dead bodies if he is not getting any suspicion or any problematic situation, as you can understand here. And at the same time, ISD or magistrate are going to order a post-mortem examination, as you can understand. Right? So now with the post-mortem, judicial medical officer will issue the medical cause of death to the coroner or to the magistrate from whom that he got the order. With the form, now with these findings, now inquiry into sudden death or the magistrate is going to fill inquirer's certificate of death, that means DAT. So with this certificate, again the common process will happen like this. Right? So now this is the common process that should be followed by the relatives with the inquirer's certificate of death. Alright. Again, there are certain other instances where area Gramaseva Niladari also can release the body. He or she is not going to give the cause of death. Instead, he just make aware of the death. All right, but he is Gramaseva Niladari is not a doctor. As a result, first of all, a doctor should confirm the death. All right, and there are certain other instances where that means estate superintendents also can attend into deaths. Nowadays it's rare because now transportation is good, right? So accessible areas are there, right? So earlier actually this process had actually occurred. Nowadays it's not happening as such, However, you have to know the process. That means estate deaths, the estate super is the basic idea that you have to understand. Right. So let's move on to this form. Now this is the declaration of death form where the ward doctor can fill the cause of death whenever the death investigation is not needed. So that means it is a very clear natural death. Right. So now B33. Right. So now this is how a ward doctor has ordered to the police officer, as you can vaguely see here, right? So now the doctor requested indicating, or he or she is going to write something or little letter, right? Dear sir, please kindly authorize to perform an inquest into death of this person. Thank you. He is going to write, the doctor, and informing to the police post, please perform or arrange an inquest into this death, right? So now these are the places that you have to write. Now this is the death confirmation. You can understand now. So now this is a ward death where you can't release the dead body straight away. If you can release the dead body straight away, you are going to write about B33. If it is not so, you have to start the death investigation process as the ward doctor. First of all, you have to confirm the death, and then there are two people that you have to inform about the death, indicating to start the inquest proceeding. Right. So, as I have mentioned you earlier, now with the certificate, that means with the cause of death and etc., relatives should go to the area birth and death registrar. So he is going to confirm, he is going to give the death certificate. So now this is one of the copies that you can see here. All right. So now Marane Liyapandichi Kirime Lekana, register of deaths. So now this is the death certificate. Now, to summarize everything, right? So now imagine if it is under the purview of the inquest law, that means a dead body cannot be released straight away. Instead there should be a postmortem. Not the postmortem, an inquest. Either inquiry into sudden death or magistrate will have the inquest. All right. Magistrate usually is going to order a postmortem. However, there are instances where inquiry into sudden death is not going to perform the postmortem through a JMO. Instead, he can release the dead body with the cause of death based on the surrounding facts. Now, with the postmortem, the doctor is going to issue the medical cause of death to the person from whom he received the order, that is, either to ISD or to magistrate. Based on this medical cause of death, inquiry into sudden death is going to formulate his cause of death and manner of death basically. So, inquiry into sudden death or coroner issues the his B18 form, coroner's certificate of death. Very similarly, magistrate is going to issue his inquirer's certificate of death. So, with these certificates, relatives should go to the registrar of area, registrar of births and deaths, and then he is going to issue the death certificate, right? So now this is the place where you get a death certificate. With this death certificate, relatives should again go to the regional, that means urban council, Pradeshiya Sabha or somewhere to get the area allocated for burial or for the crematorium. Now these details will go finally to the Department of Registrar of General for registration. Now this is the basic procedure of death disposal. Just to summarize about forms here. Now as you can see here, now this is a sample of the form that the area Gram Seva Niladhari is going to use, which is termed B24. It's just reporting of death to the Registrar of Birth and Deaths. And also, to summarize, if there is a ward death and cause and manner of death is very clear and not indicated to have the death investigation system, the ward doctor or house officer is going to fill the declaration of death form or B23. And if there is a postmortem examination to be done ordered by ISD or magistrate, the JMO upon the postmortem examination is going to fill the medical cause of death. This medical cause of death will be given to the person that who is going to order the postmortem examination to the JMO. Based on these findings, the inquirer or the coroner is going to complete his form, that means coroner's certificate of death, in other words B80. Very similarly, with the lengthy court case only, however, the magistrate also is going to fill the same form based on his findings, manner of death and the JMO's findings and everything, again the B18. With these forms, the relatives will go to the local births and death registrar, and relatives has to fill the CR2 form. Not that important to know. However, with all the information, the area registrar or the birth and death registrar will issue the death certificate. Now, as you can understand, relatives should go to the local birth and death registrar with one of the types of certificates with the cause of death. Otherwise, he can't, the area birth and death registrar can't do anything. As you can understand, his duty is only to register the death. There are certain other individuals where we have to find the cause of death and everything, right? So now his duty is only to register, right? Based on that, he is going to issue the death certificate. Finally, by using this death certificate, he can get arranged the funeral director and also cremation. As the summary, you can understand now, disposal of the deceased should be conducted according to the country's law. Otherwise, it is an illegal disposal of a dead body. A death investigation or inquest may or may not be required. Once the cause of death is determined, the death must be registered at the local office of the Registrar of Births and Deaths. Students should know when to complete the Declaration of Death Form or DDF, and also how a death certificate is issued. For the different types of postmortems and practice MCQs, please refer the part 3.